What's good? What's good, guys? Hope everyone is well. I'm doing good, Elliot. Thanks for asking, bro. We're gonna take a look at all of your coin requests today. I'm looking at a little bit higher here on XRP. I'm thinking it's gonna come up to this 786 here. Now, when we take a fib from this high right here, this was, I believe, let me see here, March 3rd. So the start of this capitulation down, right? If we take a fib from this high down to this low, I think we see a move up to EQ right over here. And then if you take a fib from this high down to this low, so the last swing high, before you had a 5-wave move down, we've come up to the 702 right over here, but I'm looking for a little bit of a fake out to the 786, go just above EQ, and then come back down below this neckline over here. We'll see how it plays out. We'll take a look at it today, and see here. Let's take a look at the S&P. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Like I said in yesterday's stream, I am expecting a move above this buy side toward this gap that we made on, let me see here, April 3rd. See how we gap down like this? We filled this gap right over here, and then we had a retrace about 50% of the way down. If we can just break this high like that and then do something like this, that would really, set the stage for higher. And then we'd be looking for a move to take out this high right here before we entered into this last little bit of capitulation, right? So you always want to look, your point of interest should always be the high before you enter into the capitulation and what rests above it. So let's just see if we can tap into this gap over here on the S&P. Let's take a look at XRP here. Now you see, if it were to break down here, it would just, like, I more so see this going up to take out the liquidity resting above this trend line. You see how we use it as resistance over here? Came back to it again, and then had your drop. Now we're back to it right over here, but I'm looking for the liquidity to be taken out above these highs. So you see, traders are putting you can think of it like this, right? Traders are putting their stop loss above this trend line, or there's just liquidity above it. You can think of it like that. let's take a look at let's take a look at TFuel. Anna is asking for TFuel, so we'll take a look at that. I think I actually took a look at this for my Discord members, and it looks good so far. Like if we take a look at TFuel on the weekly, right, we could see that it just came down to tap this resistance that we had before the 2020 bull market. You guys see that? This was our resistance. Came down, came back up to it, and then it acted as resistance again. This was our equal high buy side liquidity, and we took it out in the 2020 bull market. Then we had a correction and a move back down to tap it as support. So let's just see if this holds, this structural support holds here. I would first want to see the price attempt to rally back to 0.0042. If we can get a move back to this resistance, you may see a retrace, but ultimately just a move back to this would be sufficient enough to consider that this over here is a fake out. See, what you tend to see in the market is you not only see horizontal resistance that acts as liquidity, but you also see diagonal resistance. Like I keep bringing up this example on XLM. Like look at XLM here, right? You see how we're at the bottom? We were at the bottom here, and then we, like the structure, like from the naked eye, the structure looks super bearish, right? It looks like a head and shoulders. Everyone thinks, oh my God, it broke down below the neckline. Let's just short everything here. And let's just pretend this didn't happen, okay? Let's say you were right over here. And then it pops up, and then look, it literally retraces the whole move. So imagine just being in the thick of it, right over here. You would think, yeah, there's no doubt it's gonna break down, right? But then look what it does. It comes back up, consolidates for about, I don't know, let me see here, a couple months, and then boom, off we go. So let's see if that's the same thing here on TFuel, right? Because we do kind of have a head and shoulders at the lows here. Like you could, like a bear could argue that this is a head and shoulders, but you can look at it differently, right? You can instead look at it like sideways accumulation. Let's just take a look here. Right? You could take a look at it like this, and then this dotted line right here, that's the mean or the median. You see how many times we react off of it as support and resistance? And now so that means we're in discount territory. This line over here would be the equilibrium, and anything above it would be considered premium. So we're in discount territory, and then we also swept these lows that we've been holding since December 2022. So you can consider it like that, and then you also have diagonal trendline liquidity that got taken out. So what I would want to first see on TFuel is a move back up to this line at 0.042, so we can at least consider that this is deviation before we have this expansion up to here around the 786. Now that would be about a 9.6x. To the 702, it's about a 7x. 618, it's 5x. So it's pretty good if this structural support holds and we get above this guy here. But yeah, and then of course if you get above the 786, then we'd be looking at a little bit of a higher extension, such as the 1.236 and the 1.382 on the linear scale. So this guy right here at 82 and 91, because the reason I'm using these two fibs is because this could be a B wave like that, where it just sweeps the highs. So you have to be cautious of that. But yeah, this is what I see on TFuel. S&P is looking okay. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at ACH. Real Ice Bears wants me to take a look at ACH, so we'll take a look at that. Now, I actually like the structure on Alchemy. I was doing some analysis there for my Discord members, and you know, all this is just ascending accumulation. That's all it is. You see how we're in this compression pattern over here? Let's see if it's holding the 21 week. It may or may not be, but regardless, it's still looking good. Okay, it's rallied back above the 21 week here. Let's see the 21 day. Okay, so this is the 200-day moving average on the chart. It's above the 200-day moving average. I would expect a move to at least the 786. So that would be at 0.087. So all we did was take a fib from this previous high down to this low. I want to see if there's more history on this coin. So we'll take a look at it on CoinTrader. Okay, yeah. So yeah, a move up to this level would make sense. Considering how long we've been within this compression pattern. We've been in this compression pattern for about 784 days, right? And this is the weekly time frame. So we've had price-based capitulation going down by 95.8%, and then this is your time-based capitulation. But people who can't see charts, right? And they just, invest in utility, like they solely just look at research fundamentals, but they don't look at the charts. They would get exhausted within this this range over here. But because we can see that this is what it's doing, we can make better decisions. So yeah, from current price up to the 786 would be about a 2x, but it's very likely that if we end up getting above the 786, then it's going to take out the highs. I can just see by the way it's moving, like it looks pretty strong. So this guy right here, so this is your buy side liquidity, external range. Okay, let's see. So you may get something like that. Right? We'll see how it plays out, but for sure I see it coming up here. As long as this compression pattern holds. Okay, that's ACH from current prices up to the 1.786. It's about a 10x. Okay, S&P is okay, looking okay for now. Let's go back to XRP here. Let's see if it's going to break down and do our bearish scenario. So our bearish scenario on XRP would just be that it doesn't get above this diagonal neckline, and we come down deeper to the deeper retracements, and then that would suggest that our local top is in, not macro top, local top, and then this would be an ABC correction down. However, if we manage to just consolidate here at the 23.6% fib at around 2.0933, then it's likely going to go higher to this level right here. I'll show you. So instead of us coming down, we would just come up to this level at the 786 at 234. So let's see how this plays out. Let's take a look at BTC. So now, like I said in my last video, if BTC comes down here, don't panic, because it's just, this looks like the natural ebbs and flows of an uptrend. We have a change of character here, right? So we have a trend shift, but then we tapped into this 4-hour fair value gap. See this 4-hour fair value gap? This was our draw on liquidity when you broke above these highs. So in order to, and remember what I said in yesterday's live stream, we need to first see a move above 85,955. We actually did see it, and now we're coming back down a little. So is this a B wave, and then we come down to the deeper retracements, or does she continue to grind up here? We'll see. But yeah, this is what I'm thinking here on BTC. As long as it can get above 85,958 and hold bullish structure, I'm looking at the 50% and 61.8% to get tagged at least at around 91.7 and 95.7. And don't forget the bearish scenario as well. Like, a bear could argue that we still have these equal lows here that need to be taken. Right? This is our equal low sell side, but a bear could argue the same thing, right? We have equal high buy side here. So let's see how it plays out. And yeah. Let's take a look at ARB. Okay, so ARB on the daily, it's rejecting off of this 20-day EMA. So we need to see a I'm not so confident that this could be the bottom. We may see a little bit of a flush lower. Let's see here. This is ARB? Yeah, okay. Let me make sure I have the full chart over here. Yeah, so I mean, you could say that this is an A, B, and a C, but it's still trending down here. So we just have to see. Let's take a look on Deck Screener if it has it. ARB. Yeah, I'm not sure. Right here. Okay, yeah, same thing. So yeah, I mean, you could argue that a bull could argue that this is an ABC, 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, and then a 5-wave move to the downside. Let's just see where this came to. Okay, so we have a 1-to-1 extension here, right? You see? We have a 1-to-1 extension. So yeah, you may see a pivot here, but I would want to first take a look at Bitcoin. We need to see that pop up. I believe you asked for. Yeah, we'll take a look at Dent as well, Rye, and Cake for sure. So this is Dent. Yeah, I'm bullish on Dent. And this is kind of like going back to my TFuel. Like what we saw in TFuel, right? How you have this diagonal neckline or a head and shoulders pattern at the bottom, and then we dip below it. If you look closer here on the 4-hour, all the waves are mapped out here on Dent. And then we have an ending diagonal here. So it looks like it's carving out a bottom, but on the small time frame, I'm looking for this equal low sell side liquidity to be taken out right here at 0.000638, and then see a pop up from there. Right? If we can't see the pop up from the 38.2% fib, then it's likely going to come down to the deeper retracements before we pick up some steam from there. You know, but at the end of the day, we have to see if Bitcoin can sustain itself here. But yeah, so what I'm looking for on Dent is a move up to this 178.6% extension. I'll show you what I mean over here. What we can do is we'll go on a cleaner chart here, just so I can show you the fibs. I'm looking at about a 9x, same as Filecoin and TFuel we looked at. If TFuel can come back to that diagonal resistance. Okay, so if you take a regular fib from this high down to this low, so before we had this capitulation down, you'll notice that the 4.236 extension is right at 0.007. And then if you take a fib all the way from the high back in 2018 down to this low, look at the 618 on the logarithmic scale. You can see it's at that exact same place. And then let's just say this is the bottom and we don't have an impulsive move up, but instead it's just a corrective move up, where this is your ABC up, your ABC down, and then you have a 5-wave move up. So this would create your A, your B, and then your C. Now, in order to get that C wave target, we would want to use our trend-based fib from the bottom of our trend, so from the bottom of A to the top of A, and down to the counter trend, which would be the bottom of B. And you can see that the 1.702, look where it is, right there, at that exact same target. And then if you take a look at the 1.618, it's right there. So if we just measure this, it's about a 9x, 10x. But remember, like, it's gonna take some time to play out. It has to consolidate around here first. Okay, we'll take a look at Theta. See XRP here. Okay, this is the wave count, guys. I thought I deleted it yesterday, but it's here. So, yeah, we got to get above this. You know, XRP on the weekly, it doesn't look bad. Like, what if this was just a deviation? What if this was a fake out? Because you see this weekly, you see how we just wicked below and then we close back above. So we have established lows here that we've been wicking down to for about, let me see here. We've been wicking down to it for about 126 days. And then you get that final push down, but then we get bought back up again. Right? So we actually have no weekly closures below this low, below this low at $1.90. Right? So if $1.90 holds, then it wouldn't surprise me when we go to take out this internal range liquidity at least. It's 297, right? So 1.9049, as long as we hold that on the weekly, we're good, right? We haven't had a weekly close below it. And then we'd be looking to take out this external range buy side. So these two levels here. We can take a look at the high time frame and the small time frame together. We'll just use two different panes. Pretty cool. You can get this in the TradingView Premium. You can look at a bunch of panes together. Like you can look at 10 different charts, even 16 different charts if you wanted to here. It's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see how this plays out here. Okay, Bitcoin looks okay for now. I mean, still holding. Let's take a look at stocks here. Yeah, it's okay. It's the 5-minute time frame here. See how it plays out. Okay, so if you take a fib from the March 2nd high down to the April 7th low, we actually wicked to EQ at 220. But I think we go into premium territory at around 237, 230, 237. And then we see a little bit of a retrace like that, right? Or we flush down with Bitcoin to the lower retracements that I was telling you guys about. These lower retracements here, right? And then we pop up, and then we pop off from there. So let's see. But I think we go into premium territory, right? Because this is our EQ. This level right here, EQ. So you can, market's not really in, euphoria. Like, I just want to get, once it gets over this EQ, we'll get that euphoria, and then I'm looking for a pullback down. If we get above the 618, then we'd be looking at these retracements at 249 and 263. Now these are the fibs relative to the March 2nd high. So we'll see. Okay, S&P, 5-minute time frame. Let's put the VWAP on here. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. This VWAP, you know what? This VWAP with the 9 and 21 SMA, it works pretty well on the 5 and 10 minute. Like if you want to scalp, works pretty good. If it's above the VWAP, then you're looking for longs. If it's below the VWAP, you can look for shorts. And then you can use the 9 and 21 as confluence. But yeah, I'm still looking for these highs to be taken out at 54.63 level towards this gap over here on April 3rd. What's up, Cape Town Rocks? Glad to see you in here, bro. We'll take a look at Flare. No problem. I like Flare. I really like the setup on Flare. I'm gonna break down that chart for you guys. We'll look at Theta, Chris. No problem. Nice to have you in here, David. All right. So we'll take a look at Flare here. And we're going to take a look at it from the source of Bitcoin, or sorry, from the source of Coinbase. The reason for that is because we want to get the most accurate analysis. Like if you take a look at it on the BitTrue source, you see how there's like a bunch of these wicks here? Like I just feel like there's more wicks. But I'm going to show you what I see here on Flare. So you see how we sweep these lows? Like that? And then we take out these highs. Right? We took out these highs right here. So this could be your change of character. Right? And then this is your bullish breaker. Okay, so we'll see how these retracements hold here. But to find the targets, it's very simple. What we're going to do is just take a fib from the high over here on February 26th down to this low. And take a look at the 2.618, 3.618, and 4.236 extension. But we're going to do it on the BitTrue chart because to find the targets, we actually want to account for wicks, right? We don't want to look at so much the Coinbase side. And make sure this is unchecked so you can get conservative targets. And yeah, same targets here, 12 to 13 cent. 12 to 13 cent. 17 to 19 cent. And then 25 to 29 bucks. And you can see that if we take a fib from this high in August 15th, before we had this huge drop off down to October 2023, look where the 702 is, right there at 18 cent, right? Look where the 786 is, right there at 26 cent. Do you see that confluence? Okay, so you want to look to take majors over here, not financial advice. Okay, let's take a look at data. Okay, so this is the analysis I did for my Discord members. We're on structural support over here, as you guys can see. We're below the 50% fib. So, we need to first reclaim this level at $1.05, 1.054. Once we reclaim that, then we're good. It's kind of like the ETH setup, right? Like if you look at ETH, you can see that we're right at the max retracement. You see, we're right at the max retracement here at 702. Not max. Let me see. Let me place it on this chart. We'll take a look here. So if you take a look at ETH, you see how, oh yeah, it came down to the 702, and then when you take a look at it on the linear scale, it came down to the max retracement at the 786. So this could be a bottom here. We'll see. And then we sweep this low, we sweep this buy side from September to October. You see how we take out these lows here? Kind of like Nvidia, right? Like Nvidia took out the lows just like this. Like, let's take a look at Nvidia. You see how these lows were taken out? Like this. And then this is called a piercing line pattern. So you can see that this weekly candle, it pierced the low of the previous week's candle, right? You pierce through it, and then you shoot right back up more than like almost engulfing this candle. You shoot right back up. So this is called a piercing line reversal candlestick pattern. And then you also sweep this buy side here. So I'm actually bullish on Nvidia here. I'm pretty bullish. Where's the 200-day moving average? At 126? Yeah, I think it's going to hit there. I think it's going to hit 126.38. ETH would come up, and in that case, Theta would come up as well, right? Right, so if we look at Theta, if it's holding structural support, then it should be okay. Let's see. Or this could be an ABC to the upside, and then we're starting a downtrend on Theta. It's Theta is pretty, it looks a little uncertain, Theta. But like ETH, I can see that it's on the 702, 786. Looks exactly like Nvidia. So we have to see. We have to give the market a little bit more time. So yeah, this is Nvidia here. I expect 126. S&P looking okay here on the 10-minute time frame, above the 921 and 50 period moving average, and currently above the median of the VWAP. Ricky is saying 702 is the moon or die fib. It's hilarious. Exactly. 786 is really, because you can always, you could always come down to the 702 like this. Then you have a push up, and then it slams down to the 786. And then we start the rally from there, right? But if you look at it, ETH has already come down to the 786. It's just on the linear scale. You see? Okay, XRP. Let's see. It's gonna go on here. All right, let's take a look at Shiba. Let's see, will this line hold? You see, this was kind of like your accumulation structure back here. And then remember what I said, in yesterday's stream, how when it's kind of like a pressure cooker, right? This is your accumulation structure right here. And then the pressure cooker pops, and then you come down to back test the accumulation range. Everyone puts their life savings in here because they think that this was the back test, now it's going to go higher, right? But then what do you get met with, right? A slam back down, and then you get a double back test. So yeah, this is usually what you see in crypto. You have your accumulation range, comes down to back test it, you go up one more time to take out these highs, or it just fails at the retracement. It just comes up to the retracement like it did here on SHIB, and then it slams back down to back test this, and it actually goes just a little bit lower in most cases. In Link it's above right now, this low in August. And then we continue up from there. So let's just see if we see the same thing here on SHIB. Right? Will this low hold? We'll see. Okay, and this would just be an ABC in that case. Okay, let's take a look at VChain. Just looks like a flat correction That's what it looks like. It's holding. It's holding support. Let's see. We gotta hold this level. Okay. So maybe this is a third wave. Come down for a fourth, and then you have your fifth wave. We'll see. You see how we rejected off this breaker? Or sorry, mitigation block? This was your mitigation block. We rejected off of it for the B wave. Now we're holding this long-term support all the way back from 2020. We're holding it. So if it can form a rounded bottom like this and hold this apex or hold this cross of these trend lines, then we should be looking for a move to the 786 at around 14 cent. Let me see how much that would be. So about a 5x, and then if you get above the 786, right, we'd be looking at taking out these highs. These highs right here. Around 36 to 46 cent. Wow, that lines up perfectly on XRP. It's wild. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll take a look at Kava. You know, Kava has held up so well through all this turmoil in the markets. I find that super impressive. I personally haven't seen something like that in all of crypto, where like it holds up this well during the craziest liquidations we've seen. You know, like I would say the most it's done so far in terms of putting investors into fear mode is this move right here. And then we pop back above it though. We pop back above this range. You see this range here? We pop back above it. So it's like, it's holding up really well, Kava. And it just came down to the 702. You guys see? Or it came down to the 786 here on the linear. Came down to the 618 on the log. So I'm looking for this level to hold here on Kava. Right there. Okay, around 40 cent. And then it's kind of like, you know, I was looking at Casper yesterday, and I was saying how it's very similar to that of Kava in a sense where you have your accumulation range, and you've been accumulating in this range for over 600 days. As you guys can see, we were in this range for 400 days. Casper, it was around 600. And then every time the price gets up here, we have a slam back down, right? Every single time. So it's like the price wants to escape, but there's a concerted effort to keep the price down. You actually have whales distributing up there, distributing up here, while retail buy within this range. And then you have, so there's a concerted effort to keep the price down in order for the composite operator to scoop up most of the supply during this dump and deviation below this range here, right? So this would be your accumulation, manipulation, and then you have your distribution or expansion. But you need to see certain levels hold in order for that to take place. And so far we've been holding it. So let's see if we can hold 40 cent at the 7 and this low here at the 786. And if you take a look at this from a higher time frame perspective, like you can take a look at it on the 3-day, and you can see that this is a rising wedge like formation here. See how many times we've come to tap this trend line? Right, this is your trend line liquidity. Tapped it once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5. Right? So as long as these lows hold, as long as this 786 holds, then it wouldn't surprise me we see a pop up to these fibs right here. Okay, these fibs. Right here. And then if you take a look at the weekly, we have this inefficiency that hasn't been tagged right at the 786. Okay, so at 412, we have a weekly inefficiency there, plus your breaker block. So this would be your FEG plus BB, right? So let's see. And you know, it's a good risk to reward because we're still down 95.3% from the highs. That doesn't mean it can't drop lower, right? Because from current prices down, just back down to these lows, it's a 43% drawdown. But if you look at it relative to the last all-time high, we're still down by 95.38%. So let's look for these levels to hold. These are the targets. And then what you can also do is take a fib from the drop-off point. So from this high here in March, the drop-off point down to this low. And you want to take a look at it on the linear scale and look to see these fibs and see if we have any confluence. Okay, yeah. So this is your confluence here. Boom. Right there. I think XRP is going to go higher here. I just see it on the daily time frame the way it's moving. You know, like this candle right here. This was a doji. And then you had this candle, yesterday's candle, where you had a longer wick to the upside. Today's candle, today's candle, the price is trading above this close or yesterday's close. Dent is looking pretty good. Okay, this is Casper. So if you take a look at Casper on the 4 hour, you can see that those that equal high buy side liquidity was taken. And now we're just coming down to the retracements. Before we have continuation, we would want to see these retracements hold here before we come up for our expansion. We need to first see Bitcoin go higher. And yeah, like I was saying with Kava, right? You have a concerted effort to keep this price down. This was a 646-day long range. Kava was around 500. So yeah, like right here. Let's check the stock market out. Okay, S&P is going higher here. It's going to take out this. It's going to take that out. I should just stream every day and just take a look at the S&P and XRP and all of the other important coins. I'm thinking of doing that. So you guys can basically just see what I see every day. Like through my lens, or through my perspective, you could say. Okay, it's above the 9 and 21 on the 10 minute. Let's put the VWAP on here. All right, let's take a look at DGB. I know a few people have been asking for it. DGB looks really good. I've always been a fan of DGB. Look at DGB just curling up like this. I feel like this is also giving us a signal. Remember in yesterday's live when I said like the rest of the market may be so uncertain, but you could take a look at a few coins and just know like this, like, yeah, the market's gonna turn. Like you see this compression pattern here? It's compressed. And then this whole entire range is our accumulation range. It's been accumulating so well. Like nothing out of the ordinary, and then we're holding the mean or the median. You can consider this like the mean because look how many times we've interacted with it. But yeah, let's put this line here. And then let's put that guy right there. And then this is your equal high buy side, which is going to get taken out, I know. There's still liquidity resting above these highs. Okay. That would be at 0.021. So I'm looking for a move, let me see here. 112% from current price. And then we can take a look at to see if there's any high time frame inefficiencies, like on the weekly. And yeah, this right here. Weekly looks really nice too. We're above the 200-day moving average. Let's take a look. Yeah, above the above the 200-day, yeah. But you see how this 786 is right there at this weekly FEG? Like I said, like there's always a PD array at the 786. I noticed that. And then what you can also do for more confluence is take a fib from the highest recorded price within the range, and then just take a look at the major fibs on the linear. And look at that. You guys see? Yeah. This is a common manipulation algo that you tend to see in the market. So you have your high over here. Sorry, there's fireworks. There's fireworks outside. So if you guys hear that, just know. So this is a common manipulation algo. You have your high over here. You come down. You take out this high. And then you come down like this. You find support at a major fib, and then you accumulate. See, we see the same structure here. So yeah, to the major POI, we'd be taking a look at 3 to 4x and then 5 to 7x. $1,000 days of accumulation, you see that? And then 96% down. So we have time and price-based capitulation here. Really good coin. I really like this structure actually. It's a good spot buy, not financial advice. Let me see here. All right, we're gonna take a look at the taking a look at PulseX ecosystem. And like I said in the last live stream, it's gonna chop around up and down within this ascending accumulation. Then it's gonna likely pop up to the POC, get above the POC, this yellow line at 403009. Then it's likely gonna make a move Let me see. It's likely going to make a move back to this 702786 retracement. But we first need to get above this trend line here. You guys see this trend line? As soon as you get above that on the daily, it's go time. You can see where we've already been testing it 3 times here now. First, second, this is your 3rd day now testing this trend line. Once you get above it on the daily, then we'd be looking for a move to POC, which would be about a 32% gain. And then get above the POC, we'd be looking for a move up to the 786. As soon as you get above the POC to make your way to the 786, it's very evident that this was our bottom here. And this would be our manipulation below this 568 day long diagonal support. Right? And then these would be your targets here. 4.236 extension measured from the highest recorded price down to the lowest recorded price within this range. So a nice 24x. Very risky coin. If you're not in this coin, be very careful. If you're not already exposed to it, then don't go all in based off this analysis. There's some people that are fully in the Pulse Chain ecosystem. That's okay. The coin looks really good, PulseX. And I believe you also wanted me to take a look at Hex. So we can take a look at Hex. Hex has been following our last analysis pretty well. Like, this was just an ABC down to extremes at the 88.6% fib. I actually think it bottomed here. And this is just a huge Wyckoff accumulation range. This was your spring. Then you had to move up to the top of the range and you come back down for your test. Once your test is complete, then you can start the real expansion. So we're looking at about a 17x from current price at the 4.236 extension. Right? So what I'm thinking is we come up here to the 3.618 to 4.236 at around 10 to 12 cent. Then we come down for a 4th wave, and then we have 1/5 wave to the upside, one more 5th wave. And then wherever this retraces to, this 4th wave, you can take a fib from this high down to this low, like something like this, to capitalize on that 5th wave move. But you would first need to see where this wave 4 retraces, because it could actually come all the way back down to tap this accumulation range of support back at 0.023 from 10 to 12 cent. So you have to be cognizant of that. Don't just go ape in as it's coming down. You have to wait to see if you find support and it's going to come up. That's why I always say don't always sell all of it. Like, don't always sell all your bag. Because if you think it's the top, 90% of the time it's not the top. If you think it's the bottom, 90% of the time it's not the bottom. So give yourself room to sell and buy. Take a look at the S&P. Okay, ES is looking okay so far. So that's Hex. I showed you PulseX, and we can take a look at Inc. incentive token. Looks fine. This is your accumulation range, and we just had our spring. This actually looks pretty good. Like, this is exactly what I want to see on incentive. You guys see this? That's what I want to see. Now I just want to see a move back into the range. As soon as we get a move back into the range, we're good. Get a move above 137, then that's for sure the spring. I want to see a daily close above 137. If we can get a daily close above $1.37 to $1, 50. Yeah, it's likely gonna go take out these highs. Where are we relative to the December 2023 low? At the 702, right here. We perfectly topped the 702. That's wild. You see how we perfectly topped it there? Yeah, I'm bullish. I'm bullish on Pulse Chain right now. Bullish on PulseX too. Real Ice Bear is asking for XEN. We can take a look at XEN. I actually did a chart there for my Discord members showing the Wave 5 targets. It's definitely an uptrend, XEN. Doesn't look bearish. Bitcoin dominance, yeah, we'll take a look. It's going to come up to this high right here at 66. And then, like I said in yesterday's stream, it's likely going to top there right here. And then it's going to come down below this February 3rd Bybit hack wick. So it's going to come up here to 66 and then come down back into this range. That's what I'm thinking. All right, let's take a look at the S&P here, and it's looking good so far. Still climbing, just consolidating on the smaller time frame. I'm looking for this gap to get filled here, at 55.58 to 56.97 on ES, and then S&P, we got that gap from 55 to 56. Yeah, around the same region. But yeah, I just wanted to come on quick just to show you the market hasn't been doing much. No change from yesterday. Still consolidating here. Still looking at Bitcoin to show us some momentum, show us some signs of life. We are seeing it so far. I really like how Bitcoin came down below this low and then popped back above it. I would just like to see a move above this 200-day moving average. If we can get a move above the 200-day at 87.5, then we should have it rolling, right? Right. Remember, this is our trendline liquidity right here. There's liquidity resting above this trend line. Let's take a look at USTD dominance. USTD dominance is a very important chart to watch because this will give us a little bit of a clue on where Bitcoin is headed, where the market is headed. This chart moves the opposite to that of crypto, and we can see that if we take a fib from the last swing high down to the last swing low on March 11th down to March 25th, we did come up to the 1.382 extension. The reason that's significant is because in crypto, whenever you have a fake out above the highs, you tend to wick to the 1.382 and not go back above it. Now you can see that we are below the 21-day moving average. We've had one daily close below it, which was yesterday, as a doji, and let's see today if we can get another daily close below it. You can see here we've had daily closes below the 21-day, like over here for example, or over here, but then the following day we always pop back up above it. Like even over here we went below the 21-day, and then the following day we pop back above it. Now, let's see, will today or tomorrow, will we have that pop back up above the 21-day, or will she continue its descent below 5.03%, confirm our change of character? Then we see a retrace into inefficiencies higher before we have continuation down towards this weekly inversion fair value gap right over here. Or sorry, I'm thinking Bitcoin dominance, but yeah, we'd be targeting this this level right here. Now let me see here. This is we'll put this here. Yeah, so the 702. See where the 702 retracement is? Right there at 4.45%. Something also that's noteworthy is that USTD dominance came up to the 786 retracement when we take a fib from August 4th high down to December 5th low. It came up to the 786 already. So, yeah. Boom. Let's take a look at AVAX. AVAX looks fine. This is what I see on AVAX. Your ABC down for your A, and then it looks like you have your ABC up, and then a 5-wave move to the downside. Okay, something like this. The only thing is, though, with AVAX is that we need this low to hold at 14.6. If we can get that low to hold and then get back into the range at 20 to 22, then we should be okay. It just needs to hold this low. And you can see that we did come down to a very important fib, which is the 702. You see that? So maybe this is a ABC, right? ABC. And then you have your A, B, C like that. You see? So we need the low to hold for this bullish scenario to play out. Yeah, I'm bullish on Bitcoin miners. I'm taking a look at Riot Platforms Inc. So AVAX is holding here. So let's see if AVAX holds. Let's see if this was an ABC. Down to the 702. If we lose this low, then yeah, we have to get above 20 to 22 first in order to confirm this. So it will look like this. That's what I'm thinking. Let's take a look at some Bitcoin mining companies here. I see that Riot is in consolidation here. Riot Platforms Inc. Lots of chop. I know, like if you're holding this, then I'm sure you've endured lots of chop on this coin. or this is an ABC down like this, where you go below $3, that would be very bearish. It would be, if it did that. So in order to deny the possibility of something like that, it would need to stay above these fibs. Thank you so much, Arnold. Appreciate it, bro. All right, XRP, let's see. Which way is she gonna go? All right, guys, so New York kill zone. It's finished. We're around 12:51 p.m. New York time. So we'll see here. Still expecting these highs to be taken out on the S&P at 54.63. I just wanted to hop on this live to do a few coin requests for you guys. Hopefully most of you got, hopefully I did most of your coins, but yeah, I just wanted to show the markets, still consolidating, still grinding its way upwards. We want to see how this plays out. Let's just take a look at Bitcoin before I end the stream here. All right, and like I said, we need to move above the 200-day. That's right above us at 87,554. Okay, once we get above that, we're okay. You also have this. I like these three floors. I was mentioning in yesterday's stream that you see how you have these three floors here, 1, 2, 3, and with each sweep we rally back into the range here. So let's see if we can get a move above the 200-day. So we can go ahead and take out this trendline liquidity. This trendline liquidity right here. And then this equal high buy side. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. It wasn't a long stream like yesterday's stream. I am on the other side of the world. I'm in Thailand, so it's pretty late here. I'm going to stream tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream every day so we can just take a look at the markets together. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, JC. I want to take a look. I'm just going to take a look at your question before I end the stream. One sec here. You mentioned PulseX and the targets, but when you compared to Hex, you mentioned Hex could have a fifth wave. Okay, so this is where I see the fifth wave on PulseX. I'll show you before I end the stream. And thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing on PulseX. this would probably, this move up to the 786 at 0 point, at 4 zeros 5129, that would likely be a wave 1. We're going to see a little bit of a pullback here, and then you're going to have your third wave up. Like you're going to have your first wave, second wave, and then your third wave up, likely to around the 3.618 and 4.236 extension. This is going to be a major resistance level that I want you guys to take profit at. Do not wait. Do not wait for these higher targets. Take profit at the 2.618, which is at 3035. Take profit at 3048 and 3056. Because this is, we may form a local top here, right? So this would be your third wave. We come down for a fourth, and then you have one last push up, right, to these guys over here. And I use the fib the same way. I place the fib from the highest recorded price down to the lowest recorded price, and just took a look at it on the log scale, right? So this would be your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wherever, like let's say we top out around this region, wherever we bottom out at, all you would need to do, same thing as Hex, just take a fib from wherever this tops out to wherever this bottoms out at, and just take a look at the rest of the fibs to capitalize on the last swing to the upside. Okay, so I'm expecting the fifth wave target to go around 0.0012, which would be about a 54x. Very, very risky coin, but this is what I see if we were to just flip this accumulation range onto itself. It would be a 54x. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one.